Sarah sat on the edge of her bed, her face buried in her hands as tears streamed down her cheeks. The room around her was dimly lit, the soft glow of the evening sun barely seeping through the curtains. Her heart felt like it was in pieces, shattered once again by another breakup. Her phone buzzed incessantly with messages from friends, offering words of consolation, but she ignored them. Right now she felt utterly alone in her sorrow. The breakup had been sudden and unexpected, yet painfully familiar. Just like her previous relationships, this one had started with so much promise. Her ex, Jake, had seemed perfect at first, attentive, loving, and committed. But as the months passed, the cracks began to show. Arguments over trivial matters, late-night texts from unknown numbers, and the gradual emotional distance that had grown between them had led to an inevitable end. Sarah's mind drifted to her past relationships, each one a painful reminder of love gone wrong. Sarah's mind wandered back to her college days, to her first love, Mike, her college sweetheart. He had been her everything, her confidant and her best friend. They spent countless hours studying together, dreaming about their future. But that dream shattered when she discovered him cheating with her best friend. The betrayal cut deep, and it took Sarah years to trust again. Next came Tom, a charming and ambitious young man. Their relationship was filled with passion and excitement, but it was short-lived. Tom received a job offer in another city, and without a second thought, he left, breaking up with Sarah over a phone call. The abrupt end left her feeling abandoned and unworthy of love. Jake was different. He was gentle and caring, and for a while Sarah believed he was the one. But as their relationship progressed, he became distant and secretive. Sarah tried to hold on, but the late-night texts from unknown numbers and the constant arguments took their toll. When Jake finally ended things, Sarah felt like she had lost a part of herself. Wiping away her tears, Sarah took a deep breath. No more, she whispered to herself. She decided to take a break from dating and focus on herself. She needed time to heal, to rediscover who she was outside of a relationship. Determined to move on, Sarah decided to pursue a long-held passion, art. She enrolled in a local art class, hoping it would be a therapeutic escape from her emotional turmoil. On her first day, she walked into the studio with a mix of excitement and nervousness. The studio was filled with the scent of fresh paint and the soft hum of creativity. Canvases of various sizes were propped up against the walls, and students were scattered around, lost in their work. Sarah found an empty easel and set up her supplies, feeling a sense of calm wash over her. "Hey there, new here?" a friendly voice asked from behind her. Sarah turned to see a man with a warm smile and a paintbrush in hand. He had sand and kind blue eyes that seemed to sparkle with genuine interest. "Yes, I am," Sarah replied, returning the smile. "I'm Sarah." "Nice to meet you, Sarah. I'm David," he said, extending a paint-stained hand. "Welcome to the class. If you need any help, just let me know." As the class progressed, Sarah found herself increasingly drawn to David. He was charming and attentive, always willing to offer advice or a kind word. They chatted during breaks, sharing stories about their lives and interests. Sarah felt a connection with him that she hadn't felt in a long time. Over the next few weeks, Sarah and David's friendship blossomed. They would often stay after class, working on their paintings and talking late into the evening. David had a way of making her laugh and feel at ease, something she hadn't experienced in a long time. One evening, as they were packing up their supplies, David turned to Sarah with a thoughtful expression. "You know, I've really enjoyed getting to know you, Sarah. Would you like to grab a coffee sometime, maybe this weekend? Sarah's heart skipped a beat. She hesitated for a moment, memories of past heartbreaks flashing through her mind. But there was something different about David, something that made her want to take a chance. I'd like that, she said with a smile. Their coffee date turned into a series of dates, each one more wonderful than the last. David took her to his favorite spots around the city, cozy cafes, art galleries, and quiet parks where they could talk for hours. Sarah found herself opening up to him, sharing her dreams, fears, and the painful memories of her past relationships. David listened with genuine interest and compassion. He assured her that she deserved to be loved and cherished, and promised to be different from the men who had hurt her before. Sarah felt her heart begin to heal. Slowly but surely, as she fell for David's charm. What Sarah didn't know was that David had his own internal struggles. Despite his genuine affection for her, he wasn't ready for a serious commitment. He had always enjoyed the freedom of casual relationships and wasn't sure he could give that up. But he found himself drawn to Sarah in a way he hadn't expected, and he couldn't resist pursuing her. David knew he was deceiving Sarah by not being upfront about his reservations. He felt guilty, but he pushed those feelings aside, focusing instead on making her happy. He showered her with grand gestures, surprise dates, thoughtful gifts, and constant reassurances of his love. Sarah, vulnerable and longing for true love, fell for David's charm. She believed in his words, trusting that he was different from the men who had hurt her before. They started dating, and Sarah felt a happiness she had never experienced before. Unknown to Sarah, David continued his old ways. He went out with other girls, keeping his double life a secret from Sarah. He knew he was betraying her trust. David's fear of commitment stemmed from his childhood. His parents had a tumultuous relationship, filled with arguments and infidelity. He grew up witnessing their constant fights and broken promises, and it left a deep scar on his heart. He vowed never to put himself in a situation where he could be hurt or abandoned. David had been in several relationships before meeting Sarah, but none of them lasted. He enjoyed the thrill of the chase and the excitement of new romances, but as soon as things started getting serious, he would pull away. He was afraid of repeating his parents' mistakes and ending up in a loveless, unhappy relationship. When he met Sarah, he was captivated by her kindness and vulnerability. He wanted to be the man she needed, but his fear of commitment held him back. He found himself falling for her, but he couldn't resist the temptation of other girls. He knew he was wrong, but he couldn't stop himself. David's deceit went unnoticed by Sarah, who was blissfully unaware of his infidelity. She cherished their time together, believing she had finally found her forever love. But the truth was, David was living a lie, and it was only a matter of time before it would catch up to him. One sunny afternoon, Sarah decided to surprise David by visiting his home. She knocked on the door, her heart fluttering with excitement. To her surprise, it was answered by Mark, David's best friend. Mark greeted her with a warm smile, but as their eyes met, something shifted inside him. It was love at first sight. He tried to fight the feelings, knowing it was wrong to fall for his best friend's girlfriend. But the more he got to know Sarah, the deeper he fell. Mark watched in silent agony as David continued to deceive Sarah. He saw the pain David's actions would eventually cause her, and it tore him apart. He wanted to protect her, to love her the way she deserved, but he didn't want to betray his friend. Mark's feelings for Sarah grew stronger with each passing day. He found it increasingly difficult to hide his emotions. His interactions with David became strained, filled with unspoken tension. Sarah, oblivious to Mark's feelings and David's deceit, continued to cherish her relationship with David. She believed she had finally found her forever love. Mark tried to avoid Sarah to control his feelings, but their paths often crossed. He found himself drawn to her kindness and sincerity, qualities that only deepened his love for her. He struggled with his guilt, torn between his loyalty to David and his growing affection for Sarah. Mark's discomfort with David's behavior grew. He saw firsthand how David manipulated and deceived Sarah, and it pained him to watch. He tried to confront David several times, but each time he hesitated, afraid of the fallout. Instead, Mark took subtle actions to protect Sarah. He would make excuses for David's absences, cover for him when he was out with other girls, and try to steer Sarah away from potential heartbreak. But his efforts felt futile, and the weight of the secret he carried grew heavier each day. As the weeks passed, the tension between Mark and David became more noticeable. David, oblivious to Mark's feelings for Sarah, grew increasingly annoyed with Mark's protectiveness. He accused Mark of interfering in his relationship, leading to heated arguments. Sarah noticed the strain between the two friends, but couldn't understand the cause. She tried to mediate, hoping to restore their friendship, but her efforts were in vain. The more she tried to help, the more distant they became. Mark's interactions with Sarah became more frequent, and their friendship deepened. They spent time together, talking about life, dreams, and their struggles. Mark found himself falling deeper in love with her, and it became harder to hide his feelings. One evening, Mark saw David with another girl at a restaurant. His heart pounded with anger and frustration. He couldn't stay silent any longer. He had to protect Sarah. He decided to confront David, hoping to make him realize the gravity of his actions. That evening, he went to David's place, only to find Sarah there, waiting for David to return. Mark's resolve wavered as he looked into Sarah's trusting eyes. Should he tell her the truth and risk losing his friend? Or should he remain silent and watch Sarah's heart shatter when she eventually discovered David's deceit? The door opened and David walked in, surprised to see them both. Tension filled the room as Mark and David locked eyes. The weight of the unspoken words hung heavily in the air. Sarah looked between the two friends, sensing the unease. "What's going on?" she asked, her voice trembling. Mark took a deep breath, his heart racing. The time had come to make a choice. "Sarah, there's something you need to know," Mark began, his voice steady, despite the turmoil inside him. He glanced at David, who was glaring at him, warning him to stop. "What is it, Mark?" Sarah asked, her eyes wide with concern. Mark hesitated, the weight of the truth pressing down on him. "David hasn't been honest with you," he finally said. "He's been seeing other girls behind your back." Sarah's face paled and she looked at David, her eyes filled with hurt and disbelief. "Is this true, David?" David's expression hardened. "Mark, you have no idea what you're talking about," he snapped. "You're just trying to ruin what we have." Mark stood his ground. "I'm not lying, Sarah. I've seen it with my own eyes. You deserve to know the truth." Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes as she turned to David. "Is it true? Have you been cheating on me?" David's silence spoke volumes. Sarah's heart broke all over again as she realized the depth of his betrayal. Sarah's emotions surged as she confronted David. "How could you do this to me? After everything we've been through, after everything you've promised." David's face twisted with anger and guilt. I never meant for it to get this far, Sarah. I care about you, but I'm not ready for the kind of commitment you want. Sarah's tears flowed freely now. You lied to me, David. You made me believe in a future that was never real. Mark stepped forward, his voice gentle. Sarah, I'm so sorry. I didn't want you to find out this way, but you deserve better than this. David glared at Mark. And what about you, Mark? You're no saint. You've been in love with Sarah this whole time. You're just using this as an opportunity to get closer to her. Mark's face flushed with anger. Yes, I care about Sarah, but I've never lied to her or deceived her. I just want her to be happy. Sarah's world felt like it was crumbling around her. She looked at David, the man she thought she loved, and felt nothing but pain. It's over, David, she said, her voice breaking. I can't do this anymore. David's expression softened, but he didn't try to stop her. He knew he had lost her. Sarah turned to Mark, her eyes filled with gratitude and sorrow. Thank you for telling me the truth, Mark. I don't know what I would have done without you. Mark nodded, his heart aching for her. I'm here for you, Sarah, whatever you need. The days that followed were a blur for Sarah. She ended things with David and tried to pick up the pieces of her shattered heart. Mark was there for her every step of the way, offering support and a shoulder to cry on. Their friendship deepened, and Sarah began to see Mark in a new light. He was kind, caring, and honest, everything she had always wanted in a partner. But she was afraid to open her heart again, afraid of getting hurt. Mark respected her need for space, but he couldn't deny his growing feelings for her. He wanted to be there for her, to love her the way she deserved, but he didn't want to rush her. Just as Sarah began to heal and consider a future with Mark, David reached out to Sarah, apologizing for his mistakes and begging for another chance. He promised to change, to be the man she deserved. Sarah was torn. Part of her still loved David, despite the pain he had caused. But she also had feelings for Mark, who had been her rock through the toughest times. She must make a choice, to give David another chance or to take a leap of faith with Mark.